Hey guys. Now, have you ever seen Jackass 4? There's a little movie. It's a little movie I like. You ever read the Bible, Brett? It's a little passage I like to quote. Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the weak and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brother. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Except that was Pulp Fiction. Great fucking, I love that. I love that line. In fact, I sent an email once to Matt McKinley and I mentioned like how poetic that line was, and I think he was a little irritated with me, and he's like, Matt, come on, you know that line, he's like, Matt, this is basic, that line's not from the Bible. And I was like, you know what, Matt, I need to give you a Pootie Tang Award, actually. His Pootie Tang Award is a thing that Matt McKinley on Quantum of Conscience on YouTube gives to people who say sort of obvious things. It's like, it's based on the movie Pootie Tang, where they're like, oh yeah, Pootie's so good with the ladies, blah, blah, blah. And then, oh yeah, you know, Pootie is so good with the ladies, blah, blah, blah. And then somebody else says, oh yeah, and you know what, I heard that Pootie's real good with the ladies. So he gives a Pootie Tang Award if you say something where it's like, all right, like, you know, it's especially funny for a truther channel, because it's like, oh, we all knew that. Like, oh yeah, oh what, you're saying Neo's ID in the Matrix expires on a certain the most famous day in 2001. Yeah, that's what you think. He's been you know, whatever, he's been at this rodeo before, you all know that. But the funny thing was I was like, Matt McKinley, I gotta give you a Pootie Tang Award, because I fucking knew that. No, I'm quoting Pulp Fiction because I think it's a great quote. In fact, you know what, I'll fucking say it. Look, I have a lot of respect for the Bible. How many people can do this? I've got the Bible literally right here. I've got a Bible right here. This is one of many Bibles that I have. This is the New King James. It's like, oh yeah, you have the New King James. How about you pull out the King James? Look, I can go in the other room to get the regular King James. Anyway, it's like, well, why do you have the New King James there, Matt? It's like, well, I kind of put stuff on it. It was a platform for my computer. It's like, oh, okay, well, there you respect the Bible. It's like, look, I think there are a lot of fucking shitty people who pretend to be fucking Christians. And let me just say this, that Pulp Fiction line, there's a lot of great stuff in the Bible. That Pulp Fiction line, even if it's not quite what Ezekiel 25:17 actually is in the Bible, I gotta tell you, it's one of the more profound fucking statements ever made. I mean the Pulp Fiction line. It's really good. It's really, really good. Just think about it. I can explain it to you at the end of the stream, maybe. Anyway. But you ever see the movie Jackass Forever or Jackass 4? Now there's a scene. There's a scene in Jackass 4. Oh yeah, no, he returned to it. Yeah, you know what? They call that, when they want to insult you in the paranoid community or the psychological community, it's funny that they call someone paranoid when they spend all their days thinking of like scary little descriptors for people. It's like, they must walk around, they must be the most paranoid people on earth. Well, you got like 7 or 8 things that we cannot cure, but we're going to give you some sedatives. It's like, okay. But in any case, the psychological community, they might call it circumlocution. No, I call it remembering what I was saying, going to the side a little bit to make a point, and then you know, having such a spiritual track, and also just generally just like, you know, keeping what I'm saying collected enough that here I go. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God. Thank you, everyone. I'm returning to my point, and it's at the perfect moment. Just like Lil Wayne in the song Don't Get It on the Carter 3. Check out the fucking song. Listen to the whole thing. Don't stop it after he starts talking. The talking part is what I'm talking about. But just like him, he gets to the end of his like 4-minute monologue, or even longer than that. It's like 7 minutes into the song. It's already been like half, or like, well, it's already been like maybe sort of like 2/3 of a song, and then like a long monologue. And then he says, bring back the chorus. And then they say, I just don't get it, or whatever. Like, it's the most epic thing of all time. So, bring back the chorus. In Jackass 4, there's a great part where Aaron McGahey is sitting there, and he's been beaten the shit out. Aaron McGahey has been beaten halfway to fucking death. You check out Jackass 2, Jackass number 2. Each Jackass sequel has an interesting sort of way to say it. Jackass is like an intellectual movie that comes off as non-intellectual, just like Rob Ager. He recently, I think, released a video about like Kubrick level movies, and he talks about how the Monty Python guys are like, you know, they have all these degrees and they're very smart guys. I'm not sure I don't know if the Jackass guys have degrees, but Jackass is a very interesting series. It's like an intellectual series of documentaries. And I think the guys are great too. I think people look at the Jackass guys and they're like, they're a bunch of doofuses. It's like, I think the joke's on fucking you guys. I think the Jackass guys are great. But in any case, but you want to check out a Jackass where they're getting beaten up. Jackass 1's great. It's a lot of fun. They're getting beaten up. Johnny almost dies. Johnny, like, there are parts in almost every movie where he almost dies, but like in Jackass 1, like they fucking flip the golf cart, and if the golf cart landed a little bit differently on Johnny, he'd be fucking dead. But he's not, and thank goodness. I love Johnny Knoxville. I have a Substack post on American Noble on Substack about how inspiring Johnny Knoxville is. In fact, I think I might mention him in more than one post. I think Johnny Knoxville is great. But Jackass 2, I mean, it's like there are sub themes of different movies, and the naming conventions I was starting to say, like basically they have interesting little ways to say like 2, 3, 4. So it's Jackass, and then it's Jackass number 2, like Jackass shit, and then it's Jackass 3D. But of course, I think they just have it as Jackass 3 if you get the regular non-3D DVD. But it was Jackass 3D, and then Jackass 4 is Jackass Forever. It's fucking beautiful. Like all of these silly Jackass movies. It's like, what other movie series do they have a different fucking clever way to put like 2, 3, and 4 for the frickin' second, third, and fourth sequel? And not only that, but each sequel is almost as strong as the first movie. In fact, the second movie might be better than the first movie. And in any case, Jackass 2, Jackass number 2, it's like a documentary of people basically sacrificing themselves and like going through immense pain for just kind of for nothing. They're already rich, they're already famous. In fact, they're probably not going to be very respected. I already talked about that. These Jackass guys go through hell. They go through fucking hell. And guess what? They're just going through. At this point, it's like, why? Like Bam Margera, there's a part where he's like he gets fucking dunked into like I think this is in Jackass 2. Might be in Jackass 3 actually, which is interesting if it is, because that seems like another like almost quitting moment. By the way, in the fourth movie, I think he might have been barely in it or something, or was he not in it? Which is funny because like in the second movie, he's like standing next to his car and like, I don't know why the fuck I do this. But in any case, he basically like, I think it's like he gets hit with a taser, or yeah, I think he's like running through a room full of tasers maybe. In any case, whatever scene it is, he's going back to his car and he's already like fucking despondent. He's like, I don't know why I'm pretty sure he's talking about this before this happens. And he's like, I don't know why the fuck I do this. Like, why am I doing this? Like, this is hell. And then he tries to get into his car, and of course they dug out the fucking ground next to the fucking door, so he fucking falls to the ground before he gets into his fucking car. I think after he was already saying, like, why am I doing this? There's another stunt in Jackass number 2, just to talk about 2 for a little bit, to fill it out a little bit, to get to what we're saying about Aaron and Jackass 4 forever. There's another stunt in Jackass number 2 where it's one of the most beautiful lines I've ever heard anyone say. And just given that I think probably much of this is indeed extemporaneous, whether anything's sort of pre-planned, like a reality show or something. I don't know if it is, actually. But it shows how beautiful and how poetic a soul Johnny Knoxville is. I kid you fucking not. All right? So basically they're watching this thing. It's like a riot control test or whatever. It's basically like this thing that shoots out like 1,000 steel balls, and it's supposed to be used. It's also an interesting police state metaphor, because it's supposed to be used for riots. Like, basically when the police want to take out a bunch of fucking people, what they're going to do is they're going to hit him with a bunch of fucking steel balls, and they see this thing go BAM! And it's Johnny there. I think it might be Aaron, or it might be somebody else, but then it's also Bam. And Johnny's like, you can tell he's not like maybe looking forward to it, but you can tell like he's down to stand in front of that thing. But the other two guys, like, it seems like they're not going to do it. It actually seems like they're just sitting there, and they're both like, like their silence says leagues, their silence says volumes, and so they're sitting there in silence, and they're like, and it doesn't feel like bullshit. Like these movies, it actually feels like real people. And it's funny because it's like, oh, these are the movies where guys are just doing like, you know, doofus things. It's like, no, these movies are like real fucking guys, and they're way braver than most of the people probably who watch the movies. Certainly than most of the people who just offhandedly like discard the movies and say, oh, that's BS. It's like, how brave are you? And not just like to have something like hit you in the face. Like how good of a person are you? How much of a stand do you make ever? Right? So these guys, they're standing there, they're braver than most of the fucking people who watch their movies, not to mention all of the people who fucking disparage their movies, disregard them, brush them off, whatever. These guys are standing there and they're like, I don't know if I want to they're like, it really seems like they're not going to fucking do it. And of course they do it, but they're wearing, basically like they're wearing like facial protection or whatever, not even that much padding, it's not that much, but they're wearing like a little padding. Johnny's wearing fucking no padding. Johnny fucking puts a hand in front of his fucking face. He might wear a cup. He might wear a cup like on his, you know, groin area. That's about it. He puts a fucking hand in front of his face. That's the kind of fucking real man. It's like, oh, what, you're a real man because you stand in front of 1,000 steel balls flying at you that police mean to abuse the regular people with that they're supposed to protect, and they steal their money from so that they can fucking live their lavish lives abusing and raping and torturing all the rest of us. It's like, no. It's like, no, Johnny's a real fucking man because he's willing to fucking do that, and you can tell because of what he's a real man because he's a real fucking man. Okay, I don't know if I'm explaining this quite well, but when the guys are like seemingly sitting there like, I don't know if I want to do this, and who knows, maybe there's a process of like checking things out, and maybe it wasn't totally secure, it wasn't totally confirmed that they were going to do this or not. So maybe they're sitting there and they're like, no, we shouldn't do this. And maybe they're thinking like, it's not me backing out, it's like us deciding just not to do this total stunt. In any case, what does Johnny say? Johnny says, it's not scary, it's just loud. That's what I'm fucking talking about. That's a good guy. That's a better guy than most of the pieces of shit in America. All right? But in any case, so Jackass 2, it's just, it's full of like, not only Bam Margera, by the way, but literally the end of the movie. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but basically the end of the movie, it's Dave England, and I think it's Dave England who had he shit his pants in the first one, and then he sat down in a fucking hardware store. And I think it might have literally been a real hardware store. Yeah, they were making a movie, whatever, but like basically, I think the way they were doing it, like they were kind of anonymous, and he literally sits down on a toilet in a hardware store with his pants off and takes a shit in the toilet in front of everybody. It's hilarious. It's like, what, Matt, you think these guys are intellectuals? I think these guys are great. And I think if you watch those 4 movies, there are a couple like parts where it's like, eh. And at the beginning of Jackass 3, it looks like it's about to be like super, let's just say super pink colored. But that doesn't really, like, the beginning of Jackass 3 doesn't really describe the rest of the movie. Like, the rest of the movie, it's like, it's a pretty, I stopped watching it, actually. Like, I think I had seen it, and I had the DVD, and I started to watch it, and I was like, you know what, I'm not putting myself through this. But then I started watching it, I think, not too long after that, maybe within a week or two or whatever. Within a few weeks of watching that, and I persevered, and the rest of the movie is great. And the beginning of the movie, it's like, okay, they're all wearing like dresses and stuff. It's like, what are they? It's like, what is this trying to do? But in any case, whatever the case may be, I'm not saying yay or nay about necessarily anything here. I'm saying, at the end of fucking Jackass number 2, it's not only Bam who's talking about that and has this hilarious and also just devastating, brutal scene where he's like, I don't know why we fucking do this. And Bam is like he's probably one of like the top 2 fucking famous Jackass guys. He got his own spin-off. Yeah, there was the Wild Boys. Did anyone have a spin-off with their name in it? That's what Bam had. Bam, I remember back in those days, Bam was like he was like probably one of the 2 most famous ones, maybe top 3. The other 2 would be Steve-O and Johnny Knoxville. And then the Wild Boys with, you know, in any case, Bam's standing there, and he's like, I don't know why I do this. Why do I do this? And he seems like mad. Like, it seems like it's funny because in the first Jackass, Steve-O says like, oh, you know, it's like when your parents say we're not mad, we're just disappointed, and he laughs and he's like, that hurts so much worse, or that, you know, whatever. But Bam is standing there. He's standing there like an angry parent who's like fucking disappointed in you, like this harsh, hard silence, this boiling, brutal silence, and he's like I don't know why I do this. It's as if he's saying, like, I don't know why it's as if he's almost talking to you, and he's like, I don't know why I keep being your friend. Like, you're treating me this way. But he's like, I don't know why I do this. At the end of the movie, they fuck with Dave England. I think it's Dave England. Oh, no, it's not Dave. It's fucking Aaron. It's fucking Aaron. They fuck with Aaron McGahee, whom I'm about to talk about again. They fuck with Aaron so badly. And it's the final scene in Jackass 2. I think it's the final one that he's literally standing there like fucking, like it's like Bam, actually. It's sort of like Bam again. I think he's already standing there saying, like, this is fucked up. Like, why'd you do this shit? And I think he's already saying that. And then they spring something else on him. Basically, I don't want to ruin it, but basically they tell him something else about what just happened and what is currently happening. And I think he literally starts fucking crying. He's like, why? He's like, why is my life so bad? And it's like, oh, your life's so bad, boo-hoo, you're making a lot of money, you're on a whatever popular show or movie series now. It's like, look, this is a man who's been through a lot. I don't know how, everyone's been through a lot, right? But this is a guy who, like, voluntarily, like Jordan Peterson style, he voluntarily puts him through a lot. This is a guy who's been through a lot. I can fucking tell. You know why? Because it fucking takes one to know one. And he's literally standing there fucking, like, crying at the end of Jackass 2. That's how fucking brutal it is. And that's the same guy in Jackass 4 and Jackass Forever who gets beaten the shit out of. If Jackass 2 is bad and they ended on him, Jackass 4, I think I heard somebody in the movie theater when I first saw it. Or maybe it was when I went to see it again, actually. I think I heard somebody in the movie theater. I think I might have seen it twice in theaters. I actually don't have the Blu-ray or DVD. I want to get it because I have the first three. And Bad Grandpa, I got it in a 4-disc set. It was awesome. And I also had the first one anyway. I think I have 2 copies of Jackass 1. I don't know. But I mean the movie. I'd also like to get this TV series. In any case, I truly mean it. I don't know if you sort of gather from how I'm describing it, but this is real fucking shit. This is like actually good stuff. Richard Roper, Ebert and Roper, on the fucking front cover of the original, I think, DVD release of Jackass the movie, the classic fucking, I got it from Blockbuster. My dad, like, he didn't show me the whole movie, but he had rented it himself, and he showed me the scene where Dave England shit in the fucking hardware store. He's like, this is really funny. You have to see this. And I was born in 1990. Whenever, like, around the time the DVD would have come out, that's how old I was. My dad said, like, you've got to see this. This is funny. And he didn't sit down and watch the movie with me, but whatever. In any case, Aaron McGahee, in the 4th movie, they beat the ever-loving shit out of him. And I think somebody literally in the movie theater as I was leaving said, like, wow, they beat up Aaron in that movie. Like, specifically him. Everyone gets hurt in a Jackass movie. He got tortured. He got fucking brutally tortured. And so he's sitting there, and he's literally sitting there, like, strapped to a fucking chair. I think he was literally strapped to it. And they let a fucking bear into the room. It's an actual bear. I don't know, maybe it was special effects, maybe it didn't actually happen. But it's literally, as it's presented, he's sitting in a room in a fucking, what, picnic chair? But I think he's, like, tied to it or something. And there's, like, fucking fish around his crotch, like, in a fucking, like, bikini G-string or something. Whatever it is. And there's like a 1,000-pound bear in front of him, a bear who could literally kill him. And there's another documentary called Grizzly Man, where I haven't seen it, but apparently it's about a guy who he was friends with the grizzly bears in Alaska, and he was such a good friend with them, and like he lived with the grizzlies, and then they fucking killed him. And the documentary is about, like, yeah, this guy essentially, and Werner Herzog, the fucking renowned documentarian / art film director, actually, the recent Nosferatu movie, that's basically, it's like Nosferatu the vampire. People are like, ooh, this is an interesting Dracula movie. It's like, have you guys seen Werner's movie from the 70s? It was called Nosferatu the Vampire, and this looks like it's almost like a remake of that. Like, specifically, it's looking at that movie and sort of redoing it. It's like, oh, how artsy. It's like, yeah, he made an artsy movie like that already, and it's anyway. Werner Herzog is in that movie, and apparently they show him listening to the tape of the fucking guy being torn apart by fucking grizzly bears, and he's this like hardcore fucking Austrian or German dude. He's like, You don't need to hear this. And so Aaron McGahee in Jackass Forever and Jackass 4, he's sitting there in a room with a fucking live bear with a maybe 1,000 pounds, maybe thousands of pounds. I don't know how heavy they are. And this bear could literally kill him. And there's nobody else in the room. Yeah, they have their animal trainers and they bring him in at the end, but he's risking his life. And what is he wearing? He's wearing a shirt that says, "So many books, so little time."